Shri Kadal Singh was a former Enforcement Director of India, Government of India. You have already heard him only ED on TV. He never wanted to show that who the ED is. So I thought cyber is his. Qualification wise, he is MTech from IIT. He also has a law and various other degrees, including you are doing some PhD in astrology. How can you predict the career by astrology and so on and so forth. He had, why we have taken, I know him for last 37 years, right from his provincial days, and know him very closely. He is very avid reader and has a very vast knowledge, but does not market himself at any stage. When he quit the uniform, all these high profile cases which are going around, fugitive gone to London, etc., he has followed them up to the extent, attached their property, and now they are being auctioned and bulldozed. And he gave the government 40,000 crore rupees as attached property of the government. This 40,000 crore is what I read in Times of India, not that he said, so I am sure it's not. So these are the laurels, got the twice president, he's an Indian Police Service officer. And now he wants to devote more into social causes. Recently I have seen his interview in The Week, 2 in Hindustan Times, and he never had that when he was in uniform except once an official interview in Hindustan Times, because I keenly follow him. So it is wonderful that he has always been for our cause, and recently he has agreed that he'll be our advisor for the group to take the artificial intelligence, cyber security, because that is also a professional topic, not by that. In one of the interview, he talked about shell companies, and that's why lakhs of few companies were overnight closed, because that was the way they were being launched and they were taking it to. I'll not take much of time. I would now that we finish by 10:30 this particular session. After that, we will have our dialogue and companies, etc. On your behalf, I present him the magazine in which he has what is this, and he will be definitely contributing for the good cause. We'll give you a
So nice of you for the kind words. So you have given a brief, not a brief introduction, but a very huge introduction of Shri Karnal Singh Ji. So I request him to be on the stage for his inaugural keynote. उसके बाद कर लो.
Respected Dr. V.K. Singh, Dr. Sachin Gaur, Dr. Sanjeev Kumar, Dr. Dhruv, and the gathering here of distinguished doctors and students. First of all, I must thank Dr. V.K. Singh for inviting me here. As he already told me though for a long period, he has been a role model because he gets up very early in the morning and goes to his studies. I am also thankful to Mr. Sachin. He is a computer science expert, and now into the diabetes, what are the causes and how it can be cured. That's a great. See, the healthcare in India, we talk of healthcare, but we don't talk of not to fall ill, which Dr. Sanjeev Kumar was saying, that we see diseases. Of course, Government of India has come out with a new ministry known as Ayush. The basic purpose is how to not to go to the doctor. While our concentration is on how to get treatment, the preventive medicines or preventive care, that is more important, and that is missing. I visited AIIMS of course, many of you would have visited. And you see what is happening on the footpaths. A large number of people are there. OPDs is very, very long. If you go even early in the morning, you will find even 100 meters long queues before the doctor. And that is the fate of the government hospital in cities, and that's the best hospital in the country, AIMS. You visit other hospitals, Loknayak Jayaprakash Narayan Hospital, Pant Hospital, or any other hospitals of the government. Though we have the best doctors, though we have the facilities, but if the machines goes off, the cost of not using the machine, nobody is bothered. The patients have to be sent out. And therefore, a large number of private sector hospitals have come. And when it comes to the treatment, for example, treatment of diabetes, the doctor will only tell him taking medicines, walk, doing some exercise. What are the overall implications of diabetes? I was reading some material. In the foreign country, they even teach to their family members how to take care of the patient. That is totally missing. I'll give you one live example. We had a head of an institute. He was diabetic for a long period, age 78 years. He got backache and he had to attend a function. So he told the doctor, please get me cured by this rate. He gave him some medicines without bothering that the kidney can get affected for a diabetic patient. He fell ill, admitted to a private hospital. There was a water in his lungs. They took out water but never bothered about his kidney problem. Though creatinine has gone to 2.8 and then to 4, and he was released from the hospital saying you are okay. Next day he collapsed, taken to hospital and died because of kidney failure. Now we have to tell patients what could be the complications. His whole medical history should be available to the doctor who is prescribing the medicines. That is somewhere we are failing. Now this is a state of affair in the urban areas. If you go to the rural areas, there are shortage of doctors in the rural areas. The people don't want to work, not because they don't want to work there, because their facilities are lacking. If a doctor is posted in the rural areas, the education facilities for their children is not there properly. So we have to develop infrastructure before we say that you are forcibly have to work in those areas. And with this shortage of doctors, the quacks come there. The people who are not experts, people who have done other alternative medicines but they follow allopathy. They should follow their own medical systems, not the medical system which they have not got the degree for that. And they only give the medicines which can be effective very fast but having long-term complications for the patients. No medical history of a patient is kept. Another is the medical ethics, both in rural areas and urban areas. The labs which are there, the doctors prescribe to a particular lab with a cut. Now, this is something you are fleecing the patients, and sometimes the tests are not required, but still they are done. So those ethics are important. Then there is the question of, suppose a person fell ill, He's in the rural areas. And he has been ill for a long period. He goes to one doctor, to another doctor, to third doctor. Then he goes to the local hospital. Then he comes to Delhi for some treatment. Where is the medical history? Many of the doctors in the rural area don't give the prescription even. They will give medicines from their own, make some packets and give the medicine to them. Even the names of the medicines will not be known. There is an attempt by Government of India to create electronic health records. But how effective is this electronic health record today? For that we require a distributed database connected to the country, which we don't have. Because suppose he comes to for a treatment in the Pant hospital in Delhi, then the doctor in the Pant hospital should have his background, total medical clinical history. And it should be that with a click of button he should be able to get where all he has got treated, what all medicines he has taken. And the patient himself should know what is my medical history. So it should be available to patient also. Otherwise he has to jot down somewhere, when I fall ill, what happens. Previously there was a concept, and foreign country there is a concept of family doctor, who would know what is the problem with the person. But today that is not there. If one goes to the OPD in the government hospital, the crowd is so much, the doctor takes hardly 2 to 3 minutes to see the patient. You cannot understand. Many of the diseases are treated because there is a placebo effect. But if there is a problem, then it persists for a long time. Maybe patient doesn't get the proper treatment sometimes. Now, what are the challenges for the future? One is this rural-urban divide. And there is a requirement how the rural area can be given treatment by the experts. There is a concept of telemedicine which is coming. We also have medical tourism. And thirdly, the upgradation of technology. Technology is improving. Every day it is improving. There is a gap between the industry, here I would say medical industry, and the institutions, government institutions, where we should do research. And therefore most of the equipments, most of the technology, most of the ideas are coming from the foreign country. What is our requirement? The Government of India has come out now with the innovation labs in the colleges, the incubation centers, and they are giving a lot of funds for that. But we have to have our mindset. Unless there is a dialogue between the universities, between the research centers, and where it is required, with the hospitals, with the patients, that there is a gap. So what we have to develop, we must know. We are getting a lot of devices, and the future is that there will be network. The large hospitals has already collecting this electronic medical records of the patients, but there is still not interconnection between hospitals. Ultimately, we have to get the total interconnection. The new devices will be coming. Dr. V.K. Singh mentioned IoT, Internet of Things. He also mentioned that we don't know, we just read it and then we don't want to understand. We should understand. See, any device which is connected to internet and is available to the doctor. For example, I put some device here and my heartbeat record goes to the doctors directly. It is the Internet of Things. Even my fridge, if I can control it remotely, it is Internet of Things. Now these jargons which he mentioned is rightly, there is a buzzword, blockchain technology. Wherever you sit in the government sector, they say we'll do it with blockchain. See, we study when I was doing in MTech in computer science in 79, 81. we read the list of chains in a data structure class. It is nothing but that. It is its usage of the linked list, which is blockchain. It gives certain advantages on other type of storage. It does not mean that wherever we say okay, we'll sort it out with blockchain. That is we should understand. So IoT devices would be coming. But with this all devices, the medical field will be on the internet. And internet is vulnerable. And that is why for this seminar is there. Dr. Sachin is an expert on this topic, but I'll mention a few things on this. Suppose there is a record in the medical, which is available or can be accessed through internet, and a hacker controls that record and threatens the administrator that will not release the record to you unless you pay us 1 lakh rupees or $1 lakh, whatever it is. There are a large number of patients in the hospital. Their records have been denied to be given to the doctors. Even if you make a complaint to police will take time to detect the person. How will you treat your patients by that time? Their medical record, clinical record will not be available. So many of the hospitals all over the world have been paying. It is known as a ransomware. And the solutions have to be found out for that. Maybe the backup have to be stored, which can come up very fast. It could be identity theft. Once the data is under his control, he can take all the identity of the person, and that can give him advantage. He can use it for insurance purposes. He can use for purchasing the medicines. Of course, in our country, you don't require many times prescription to purchase, but in foreign country, you can't purchase without prescription of the doctor. The clinical history of the patient could be very, very important for him. Suppose he has some disease which he doesn't want to disclose. Even he can be threatened, or he can be maligned. So keeping the history of the patient secure would be a challenge. And challenge because, see, we go to our mobile phones. We have biometric fingerprints. It has been hacked already. We use the retina, face recognition. Face recognition of Apple has been hacked by some Chinese. Even that is the problem would come. Suppose there is a hospital, operations are going on, and the person says, I have controlled your oxygen supply during the surgery. What will you do? Suppose a terrorist gets the record, terrorist gets the access, and he kills the patients by switching off the oxygen to the people who are in surgery or who are in the ICUs. So there are challenges with it. And unfortunately, in India we have seen, not only in the health industry, but in various other industries, they are not bothered about security. We had a case, a 29-year-old CIA agent was posted in the US Embassy in Delhi. Her name was Rosanna. In the normal interaction and in the seminars, she friended with the National Security Council experts in the computers. Three of them were compromised. And their system was hacked. When we started doing investigation, we found that firewalls were not configured. There was no intrusion detection system. There was no intrusion protection system. And the people who were heading that institute, that government agency, they were considered to be the best in the country. He told during interrogation that I am the best in the country. So my eye was quite perturbed. He said, sir, he is so expert, how can I interrogate him? And in one of the sessions in RTI, because he wanted certain information which he refused, I had to appear before the court. So he raised this issue, I am the expert and they are not giving me this. Then I told him that if we have such experts, then God save the country. So we are not bothered about security. When we are developing something, when I was learning a course on hacking, we went to one of the sites in one of the universities, and we found there are backdoors in that, already there. We informed them there are backdoors in your system. We don't get proper checkups, screening of our systems. And that will be a challenge in future. The technology is coming, whether we want it or not, but it will come. There is a requirement, there is a patient's requirement, there is a doctor's requirement, and there is a requirement of time that this technology will come. And it will be on net. It will be connected. And therefore, we need security. We have to understand what security is required. What security ethics are required in an organization. I take my pen drive, put it into the hospital computer. My pen drive is hacked by somebody, or my computer is hacked, my home computer. Through that, my pen drive, I hack into my own system. Somebody is hacking. See, there is a concept known as bot. I hack into your system and then operate through you. So if the police does investigation, they do investigation, they go by internet protocol address, IP address. That's the address of the person. So they'll go to the computer. But that computer is not perpetrator. Even the owner of that computer will not know that it has been done through my computer. This issue was raised in one of the seminar, National Judicial Academy. I attended in Coimbatore recently. And the judges were saying, how do we believe that the evidences are correct? So therefore, we have to be upgraded with the technology. We have to understand it. And simultaneously, we have to adopt the security measures. I once again congratulate the organizing team of this seminar and I wish them all the best. Thank you.